All right, what's up? Chiefs made a move. I'm not in my office right now, so this is the setup that you're getting. This is a move that I thought was coming down the pipeline. I didn't know it would be via a trade. I talked about it in a video earlier last week, but the Chiefs are bringing back former 2018 draft pick and defensive tackle Derrick Nnadi. This was just announced by Tom Pelissero and basically everybody saying another trade. The Jets are sending defensive tackle Derrick Nnadi to the Chiefs. The teams will swap conditional 2027 6th and 7th round picks. So there's conditions to this swap even taking place. Probably he's got to play a certain amount of snaps, a certain percentage of snaps, or something like that. Derrick Nnadi was drafted by the Chiefs in 2018, played his entire career in Kansas City. Most of you know this until this past offseason. He was signed on a one-year deal by the New York Jets. It was essentially a vet min deal, dead money. There's not much, $300,000-$400,000. So when I talked about this potentially happening earlier last week, I said, hey, the Chiefs need defensive tackle help a little bit. I'm looking at their depth chart. I'll pop it up on screen. But when you look at the interior of the Chiefs D line, it had some concerns to me. There were some concerns there just because Mike Pennel is 34. Chris Jones isn't getting any younger either. Obviously, he's fine. Defensive tackle 1 in the entire NFL. But he played an ungodly amount of snaps last year, 80-something%. It was way too high. So you need as much depth in that room as humanly possible. So that's part of it. But the other part is Omar Norman Lott with the ankle, the Chiefs' second-round draft pick. He's dealing with an ankle injury. It got injured at training camp early, re-aggravated in the Chiefs' second preseason game, I believe. They all blend together right now. I'm pretty sure it was the second one. And then he didn't play in this past game at Arrowhead against the Bears, a very fun preseason game. But yeah, what I was saying about the Chiefs making a move for Derrick Nnadi, I didn't actually think they would need to trade for him. It appeared that Derrick Nnadi was on the roster bubble for the Jets, was playing in the second half in some of these preseason games. And then this week, the Jets made 2 trades in the same day for 2 defensive tackles. So then I'm like, oh yeah, Derrick Nnadi is definitely on the way out here. And so I thought with Nnadi being a vested veteran, if he didn't make the roster, he wouldn't have to clear waivers and the Chiefs could just sign him to their own 53 or the practice squad during cutdowns. So the fact that they made a trade, it tells me that the Jets it was either posturing. The Jets were saying, hey, we're not going to let this guy go. He's going to make our 53, but if you want him, what can you give us? In a 2027 conditional 6th and 7th round swap, it's nothing. It's basically what the Chiefs just dealt Sky Moore for. It was a 2027 6th and 7th round pick swap. It wasn't conditional though. So the Chiefs move up from the 7th to the 6th and the 49ers go back, I think, from the 6th to the 7th. All that to say, I like the move. Derrick Nnadi, he's not going to be a game wrecker. He will help against the run. Yeah, the most sacks he's ever had in a season is 3. Okay, so that's not really why you're using this guy. But here's why the move makes so much sense to me. He's a veteran, knows the system, has played in Kansas City basically his entire career. So it felt like a no-brainer move if you need defensive tackle help. That's what the Chiefs do sometimes. They move on from guys. They try to go a different direction, but injuries hit the room and they end up bringing familiar faces back. They've done that with McCole Hardman a couple of times now, I think. But yeah, Derrick Nnadi, he's back. It's going to help shore up the depth as far as what that means for the rest of the interior line when you're looking at roster cutdowns. I mean, I think the locks for sure, Chris Jones, Mike Pennel, Tillery, Omar Norman Lott. There's your 4. Fabian Lovett was maybe on the bubble. He's a guy that could potentially make it, or Marlon Tuipulotu, one of those guys. But now I'm wondering, does Omar Norman Lott go on IR with a designation to return? So he misses the first 4 weeks, gets that ankle right, and then he returns, and you could kind of deal with the numbers later. If you're putting him on IR, he obviously does not take up a roster spot. I don't know if that's coming, or if the Chiefs are just going to roll with 5 defensive tackles and you have to counter that somewhere else. So 1 less linebacker, 1 less defensive back. Don't know how much I love that with some of the safety room banged up. Obviously, Deion Bush is on IR for the year, but Mike Edwards is dealing with a hamstring. Nnadi with the shoulder. But yeah, you're going to have to make up for that somewhere along this roster if they do go with a 5th defensive tackle over 4, which is what I thought they would be doing when I did my last 53-man roster projection. So there you go. It's not going to be expensive. He's on a vet min deal. You're barely giving up anything, but you're getting a guy that you can basically plug and play. He's going to take a few days to get reacclimated because he spent his entire career here. Joe Cullen is still the D-line coach. Spags is still the DC. He's familiar with how even his teammates like to play because he's been here. He's durable. Again, not a game wrecker, but he's a guy that raises the floor in the room. The move makes sense to me. You guys got to let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Love it, hate it, does it make sense? Where are you kind of at with the whole thing? And do you think the Chiefs will make any other moves here as roster cutdowns are getting ever so close? It's on Tuesday. They have to be compliant basically from 90 to 53 guys by the end of the day. It's 3 or 4 p.m. Can't remember the exact time, but yeah, there could be more moves that the Chiefs end up making. They were reportedly calling around for a running back. So maybe you see a trade like this where a running back is going to be released or waived, but wouldn't be able to clear waivers because the Chiefs are at the bottom of the waiver wire. They can't get players that they want unless they trade for them, or they're going to get claimed prior. So maybe a running back is something that could be a possibility. Other than that, I'm not sure. Defensive end with both Janarius Robinson and Felix Anudike-Uzomah on IR, we could maybe find a guy from another team that doesn't make the initial 53 and the Chiefs claim them. Those are the only other position groups: running back, defensive end, and I thought defensive tackle would be one, and they just did it. So a little surprised that they had to trade for him, but they barely gave up anything, and it's a conditional pick swap. So we'll see if they even have to do that down the line here in a couple of drafts from now. But again, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?